Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. So for this week's class, we are going to read chapter 21 and 25 to 26 while watching the episode 20 and 24. So basically, we are getting into the very juicy part of the story and to learn the very complicated but very interesting relationship between Guan Yu, Cao Cao, and Liu Bei, and how these different parts the two opposite sides, Guan Yu and Cao Cao, became enemies and how their tension is constructing throughout the story. Okay. So this week's theme is the definition of heroes. That is because in chapter 21 and also in episode 20, we see the very famous evaluation of heroes by Cao Cao. So Cao Cao is holding this this kind of banquet for Liu Bei in his own garden with a warmed wine and some plum. So it's like eating the plum and drinking the warm wine and discussing about heroes. So that's the overall theme of this week. The basic story happened in these three chapters is that Cao Cao and Liu Bei had that famous discussion about heroes. And then Liu Bei kind of get the secret command from the emperor to fight against Cao Cao as a traitor. So Liu Bei want to protect the Han royal family and want to fight against Cao Cao, who is now sort of a traitor to the Han royal family. But then Liu Bei is now currently don't have much strong military power, so he sort of find an excuse and fled, which makes the official kind of which make him the official enemy to Cao Cao. And later, when we get to chapter 25 to 26, we involved this very important figure, Guan Yu or Lord Guan, because Guan Yu and Liu Bei is now separated, so they don't know each other where the other brothers are and whether they are alive or not. They are separated, and they only know their parts of the story. So Guan Yu is now falling into the hand of Cao Cao, temporarily surrendered to not Cao Cao. He claimed himself surrendered to the emperor because emperor stood behind Cao Cao. So Cao Cao is representing the emperor basically. So Guan Yu is saying, oh, okay, so far I didn't know the news about my brother, so I can temporarily surrender to the emperor / Cao Cao and waiting for the news from my brother, and then I can go look for him. But Cao Cao is very interested in Guan Yu. For him as a very powerful fighter, but also as a righteous kind of warrior. So Cao Cao admires Guan Yu a lot more and tries every method he could think of to please Guan Yu and try to win Guan Yu over. But Guan Yu always have the heart for Liu Bei. So Guan Yu was saying, no matter what happened, I really appreciate your good treatment to me, but whenever I heard the news about my brother Liu Bei or Xuande, I will go look for him. So it's just my thing. I have to do this. So it's like I would say a very interesting triangle-ish relationship. And I think when we get to this part of the story, we now getting familiar with what kind of characters they are. And not only their appearance, if you still remember from the very first chapter, we're talking about like being a protagonist in this heroic world and being a sort of the potential candidate for hero. You need to have a extraordinary experience. Like you have to be very tall. And like Xuande, you have to have long ears, and like Guan Yu, you have to have long beard. So you will have a very distinguishable and distinctive appearance, a feature of your appearance. But also, when we get to this part of the story, now we can get the very distinctive feature of their characteristics. So, for example, for Cao Cao, he has ability to recognize the true heroes. So from the discussion about who is hero, who can be recognized as a hero between Cao Cao and Xuande, we really get the feeling like Cao Cao, he himself has a sharp eye and he can recognize who is hero. And also another very interesting thing about Cao Cao is he is so eagerly want to seek talent, seek the virtuous, seek the good warriors. So he had that kind of eagerness, and that kind of eagerness to search for talent is represented everywhere in the story. I think from the very start, when we get in touch with this character Cao Cao, we already know he's kind of very strategic and also suspicious all the way. He has a lot of different scholars around him and providing suggestions everywhere, every time, but he will selectively listen to them and make his own strategic move. So he is kind of the smart person, belongs to the smart side. And also Liu Bei or Xuan De. We now know, especially from chapter 21 and from the episode 20, we know he's very good at acting. So, for example, if you still remember in the episode, when Cao Cao is now coming looking for him, he was doing something in his own garden, and he will quickly pick up some dirt and smash on his own face to pretend he is so dedicated to gardening and has no ambition of doing other things. So that's one thing. And also the very famous dropping the chopsticks. That is when Xuan De was talking about who is hero with Cao Cao. And when Cao Cao said like, oh, all these people you said, they cannot be understood as hero because the hero under the heaven is only you and me. So Xuan De was like, I was exposed. He knows I am the hero. He knows I am the rival. What can I do? And he panicked, so he dropped the chopsticks. But at the same time, the thunder is there's a thunder, and he very wittily and very smart saying like, oh, actually I'm afraid of the thunder. That's why I'm dropping the chopsticks. So kind of gloss over the whole panic situation. And that can be said is a very classic thing of Liu Bei acting like someone not so smart and someone very innocent. So that's a very interesting feature of Liu Bei or Xuan De's personality. And also, one more thing to talk about is when Cao Cao was saying, you have two weapons. One is benevolence, 仁, and the other is righteousness, 义. So I asked this question on the forum, but I think we should keep this question in mind that why benevolence and righteousness is so important, especially in a world of chaos, and why Cao Cao thought benevolence and righteousness could be the two most powerful weapons of Xuan De, and these two kind of features could work in a world of chaos. And finally, Guan Yu, the chapter 25 and 26 dedicated to him. Of course, he is extremely loyal to Xuan De or to Liu Bei. And also, he is the symbolization of righteousness. If you ever mentioned a righteous warrior or righteous fighter, you will think of Guan Yu. And also, he treasures brotherhood more than anything. So you can see Cao Cao, Xuan De, and Lord Guan, they have very different characteristics, and all these features are depicted so vividly and in the novel and in the episode, which when you mention one keyword like benevolence, we will think about Xuan De. Another word like righteousness, you will think about Guan Yu. It's so intense, that the personality is so intense to the extent that whenever you mention a keyword, you can think of the character. And I think that is also one of the successful part about this novel. And also, talking about the definition of hero, let's first take a look from Cao Cao's side. He said, what defines a hero is this: a determination to conquer, a mind of marvelous schemes, an ability to encompass a rhyme, and the will to make it his. So you can see he kind of not only pay attention to the hardware of a hero, like when we're talking about who is a hero, can Lu Bu be considered as a hero, he is so powerful, So power, or the fighting power, if we can consider that as a hardware, we can see here actually Cao Cao defines a hero using the standards of the software. So the determination, the mind, the ability, and the will become the most important thing. So that is very interesting. So a hero should be a combination of powerful hardware plus a very strong and a very determined software. And also, from this moment on, we will see more and more scholar officials who are now surrounded all these leaders or warriors and providing suggestions all the long way. That is very interesting, especially till next week. We will meet the most smartest guy in the whole world of Three Kingdoms, which is Zhuge Liang. And now we can see how the power of the software or how the power of the mind sometimes can actually conquer the power of the strength. And then let's turn to chapter 25 and 26. If we can see, we already see Cao Cao's definition of hero. Now let's see the one person, Lord Guan, which is very qualified to be a hero. So what does he do? He restrained from money and women and keep faith no matter the cost. So first, he's powerful, that's no doubt. But also he has a strong mind, just as what Cao Cao describes. A true hero has a strong will and a strong determination. That is exactly what Lord Guan possesses. He always keep himself away from the seduction of women or money or other things like that. And he is always looking forward to get reunion with his brother and to continue their career, that is to restore the Han royal family. And I think this question is one of the most interesting one, and I always, whenever I read this chapter, I will think about this question, that is, why Cao Cao, after so many things, after giving Guan Yu not only the money, not only the material enjoyment, but even the red hair, the most powerful horse in the whole story, and all these kind of appreciation. After all this, why Cao Cao still cannot win Guan Yu over? That's a very interesting question, and I think we can have a very interesting discussion on Thursday's section. And even, that is one detail, that is, Cao Cao even treasures Guan Yu's long beard. So if you still remember in the novel that is said, Cao Cao asked how long your beard is and how do you maintain the good condition of your beard. And in the end, Cao Cao provide a very well-made, refined pocket for Guan Yu to keep his beard. So he cares everything, he treasures everything about Lord Guan. But Lord Guan just don't stand by his side. And why that happens? And from another play written almost at the same time with the novel, there's a saying for Lord Guan, the recent favors of your excellency versus the old friendship with Lord Liu. Favors can be repaid, but friendship cannot be cut off. Here, the Chinese character is Yi, so you can translate it as righteousness, but here I think friendship is not so intense. Maybe brotherhood is a more appropriate translation. But no matter what, it was saying favor versus brotherhood. There is just a difference in weight. And for Guan Yu, he made his own choice. And one thing I found very interesting is the foil of the other two brothers. So actually in the TV episode 20, there's only Cao Cao versus Xuan De. A lot of conversation is going on between these two characters solely. And there's not much involvement of other supporting characters. But in the story, that is very interesting. So every time Lord Guan and Zhang Fei will stood up and ask questions. So for example, about why Xuan De or why Liu Bei is working in the garden is that Lord Guan and Zhang Fei asked, "Brother, why have you lost interest in the greatest issue of the rhyme and giving yourself to a commoner's toy?" And Xuan De said, "This is something you might not appreciate." And then his brother did not ask again. So there's I feel like these two brothers, Lord Guan and Zhang Fei, is always asking something. And next time is about the dropping the chopsticks. So Lord Guan said, "We thought it was the end." Xuan De told them how he had dropped the chopsticks, and his brothers asked what that meant. "I work in the garden," Xuan De explained, "to show Cao Cao I have no ambition. But he caught me off guard by calling me a hero, and the chopsticks slipped from my hand. I told him it was the thunder to put him off the track." The brothers marveled at Xuan De's quickness. The last one is when Xuan De proposed to attack Zhang Liao brothers and to leave Cao Cao, leave the region of Cao Cao. And Lord Guan and Zhang Fei riding beside Xuan De asked, "Brother, what made you so eager to fight this battle?" "And here I am a caged bird, a trapped fish," Xuan De replied. "With this move, I gain the sea, the lofty space, free of cage or net." So you can see it's very interesting. Lord Guan and Zhang actually play the role of us readers. We have all these questions like, why are you working in the garden? Why you are so panicked when you drop the chopsticks? Why you suddenly just want to go out to fight the Zhang brothers? What happened? So these two brothers, even if they don't actually actively do something to the plot, but by asking those questions, the writer kind of put them as a substitute for us readers and made Xuan De he himself to explain a lot of implications and his own intentions behind all these actions and make everything logical. So that is a very interesting detail to pay attention to. And finally, I want to introduce two famous Chinese idioms from the Three Kingdoms, especially from the 3 chapters we read for this week. So the first one is looking over the plum will seize the thirsty. That is, if you still remember, Cao Cao was saying, "One day when we are marching, our army is so tired and everybody is going to fade. But I told them, oh, look at somewhere in a distance, there's some plum." And then they have the door in their mouth, and that kind of sees their thirst. So in Chinese, 望梅止渴 nowadays is using as a phrase to refer to a imaginary illusion. So you are thinking about something may be there and you look at it to comfort yourself, that kind of feeling. And the second one is referred to Lord Guan's story. So my body is in the Cao camp, but my heart or mind belongs to the Han dynasty. So in Chinese, 身在曹营心在汉, which means the story is when even if Guan Yu is now trapped in Cao Cao's camp, his heart is always go for the Han dynasty, go for the Han royal family, the royal uncle Liu Bei. So that means my mind and the body is separate, and I'm always looking forward to the other thing. It's not what I'm doing right now. So 身在曹营心在汉 is also a phrase. Even in contemporary Chinese, we use it. Okay. So I think that's all for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave your comments below, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye!